Hey paddlers, we have a new feature on the Paddle Channel training app that is kind of cool, and I just wanted to share it with you really quickly. So you know that any good training plan is going to introduce stress, or training stress, and then you as an athlete, you need to recover or absorb that training. And an important part of your training is to ensure that you're adequately recovered before you tackle that next key workout or that next hard workout in your training plan. And we have a few tools here that will help you gauge that readiness. Now, your most accurate way to gauge your readiness, research indicates, is through a self-assessment. Like, how do you feel? And the app has from the beginning offered a self-assessment capability. So if you mark a workout as complete, or you add a free paddle, or you add well, don't want to do that, or you add a non-paddling workout, you have the opportunity to do this self-assessment. It's very easy. It's a 5-star rating that you give yourself. How did you feel during the workout? How's your mood today? And how's your energy today? And then you can see a summary of those ratings in your training log. And I can go through here and look and see. And if I see a lot of green, that's great. That's a good sign of recovery. But if I'm going through the training log and I start seeing a lot of orange or even red, and I start seeing that repeatedly, then I know that I really need to pay attention to, or I know that the athlete I'm working with really needs to be aware of their recovery. And sometimes the lack of recovery, and oftentimes the lack of recovery, is not due to training. It's due to things that we can't necessarily control: regular life, work, stress, just the stresses of just regular stresses that we may have in life. But we can control how we structure our training plan, and we can control how well recovered we are before going into that next key workout. So that's one great tool, and that's actually a very accurate tool for assessment. We also have on your workout feed, we have these numbers here. If you connect your Garmin Connect account to your Paddle Channel training app account, you'll get a daily snapshot of your resting heart rate, your HRV, and your sleep numbers. So you can look at that, and that kind of gives you a snapshot of where you, if you're a data nerd, you may find this fun, and it allows you to gain a snapshot of where your recovery may be. And what would happen here is we don't, in the app, we recommend an order of apps, but we don't tell you, or workouts, but we don't tell you what day to do those. And we want you to do a little bit of self-coaching here. So if I'm looking at this and I see in my training log, I'm starting to see a bit of orange, a lot of orange, or maybe some red. I'm starting to see some numbers here that aren't very good, aren't trending the right way. Then if broken miles was my next workout, that's a pretty tough workout. I know I'm not recovered completely. Then I'm going to do a little self-coaching, and I might do an easy day on that day. And then another day, I'll come back and tackle this broken miles workout, which is a little bit tougher. Now, here's the new tool under reports. We've got this readiness trends report. And what we've done here is we're looking at your average HRV, we're looking at your average resting heart rate, and we're looking at your sleep scores. And then we're giving you a graphical representation, just one more representation of that self-assessment that you're doing when you enter your workouts. And what we want to see is we want to see these trending between these bands, this green band, upper and lower green bands here. If I start seeing my HRV trending way below this band, or getting below this lower band on a regular basis, then I know I need to start paying attention to recovery just a little bit more. Interestingly, one thing that we noticed is that as we tapered for our big event that we were tapering for, we started seeing our HRV kind of going up and getting at the higher end of that band, and we were seeing that consistently across athletes. Kind of cool. So on resting heart rate, we want to see that trending lower. We don't want to see that trending over and over again higher. So if I start seeing a low HRV and a high resting heart rate, I start paying attention to my recovery a little bit more. I start looking at substituting an easier day, or maybe even an off day, for one of the hard key workouts. I can also look at sleep scores here. As you know, sleep is an important part of recovery. And then this self-assessment, we've just drawn a line at 3.5 stars. And if you start seeing a long trend below 3.5 stars, it's another way to just start being aware of how your recovery is going. And this defaults to the past 30 days, but of course you can change that date range if you want to. One thing that's important to note is that this data doesn't really mean anything unless you have about at least 3 weeks of data, because we do have to get your average. Everybody's a little bit different. We do have to get your average. This page also contains a lot of information about how to use and how to read the information that's here. Anyway, it's just one more tool. It's kind of cool, especially if you're sort of a data nerd like I am. Hope this helps, and hope it's as fun for you as it has been for us.